We spent a good amount of time playing with what are known as line breakpoints. We created these by clicking in the gutter on the line of code where we wanted to pause the execution of our application. But Xcode gives us options to create other types of useful breakpoints that are not associated with any single particular line of code. To create them, we'll need to go to the breakpoint navigator, and I'll remove this breakpoint for now. And then we'll want to focus our attention on this plus sign in the lower left-hand corner. If we click it, a context menu appears, allowing us to add exception breakpoints, OpenGL ES breakpoints, symbolic breakpoints, and a test failure breakpoint. In this course, we're going to focus on only the exception and symbolic breakpoints because the other two, OpenGL and test failure, are more specialized cases. So let's add an exception breakpoint and see what happens. The first thing that we can see is that Xcode creates a breakpoint that does not belong to any single file, and it reads all exceptions. And to show the difference, I'll set a line breakpoint. You can see how this one belongs to a file and this one does not. So like it sounds, this breakpoint can be triggered by any and all exceptions. If we right-click and edit this breakpoint, we can see that the break option is set to on throw. Thus, anytime the runtime environment throws an exception, this breakpoint will be hit. We could change this to on catch, but let's leave this setting for now. To demonstrate how this breakpoint's used, I'll go to the breakpoint bug view controller. Let's scroll up to the view did load, and we'll change the action for the single tap recognizer from handle single tap to handle single taps with an S, because we know that that method does not exist. And this will force an exception to be thrown. So let's run the application. And we'll tap in the breakpoint debugging scene. So once I've tapped the screen, we can see that our breakpoint is being reached, and it's saying that an unrecognized selector is being sent to the instance of a memory address for a breakpoint bug view controller. And if I try to continue, then our application will crash, and it's terminating on a uncaught exception of NS exception type. So let's go ahead and look at the other options we have. I'll stop for the exception breakpoint. So the only thing that's different besides the action and options which we've seen before is this exception option, and we can set it for a particular language like Objective-C and C++, so that we only fire on exceptions triggered in either language. And that's really it for exception breakpoints. And you may be wondering to yourself, well, how is an exception breakpoint useful? Well, this type of breakpoint can be extremely useful if your application is crashing on a particular line of code, but Xcode and the stack trace really just aren't giving you a whole lot of information. So with an exception breakpoint, you can pause right before the app crashes because, say, it's not handling the exception, and then determine who is the culprit of the crash.